Hey there. Do one of y'all have like 5 minutes for a quick chat on camera? I'm doing an interview of people.
Sure.
It's a 5-minute talk. Let me tell you what it's about. And just so you know, I'm recording and then I'm also live streaming.
Okay.
You guys want to give it a shot?
Sure.
Okay. I'm not really good at dual interviews, but
No,
I can do it. No, I can do it.
Yeah, let's try it.
We can give it a shot, but you gotta have to kind of get close together. All right. Just so you know what you're getting into.
Okay.
I'll stop anyone that will, chat with me.
Yeah.
To see what they believe and why.
Okay.
Like, do they believe in a God or karma or whatever?
All right.
Let's start off. What is your first name?
Sarah.
Sarah with a H?
Yes.
And I'm Kyle.
Kyle. Nice to meet you. I'm Anthony.
Nice to meet you, Anthony.
Is there you guys know each other pretty well?
Yeah.
Is there a particular belief that you both share that you want to discuss in 5 minutes?
Well, we both believe in God.
Okay. You both believe in God. All right. Is that correct?
Yes, that's right.
He's like, wait a second, honey, we need to talk. Okay. Have you ever wondered why you hold the belief? And let me just warn you, when you give your answers, try not to let the other person influence you.
Yeah.
Hold fast to the first thing that comes to your mind, if that's possible.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, because I really want to understand, and people have all different sorts of reasons why they hold the belief.
Yeah.
Why don't you go first? Why do you believe in this God?
Well, I've always grown up as a Christian believer, and I do believe that things happen for a reason. There is somebody out there higher than us that has a plan, a higher plan for us.
Ah.
So, I don't know. I'm a strong believer.
Do you believe that God has a plan for you because you grew up believing that?
No, I believe even if I didn't grow up that way, I believe there is a plan for us each day. Things we do, it's already been planned for us.
Is everything that's going to happen for the rest of your life completely planned out for you?
No, it's just the decisions that we choose to make. Like, that will direct us in the path that we're supposed to be in.
Okay. And you, sir?
Well, of course, I grew up, my parents taught me, took me to church and all that. So I grew up already, learning about that, but as I got older and more mature, I would, take it on my own to go to church and learn more. And so I just always believed in God.
Okay.
Basically, that's what I grew up learning.
It sounds like one of the things you both have in common is that you grew up with the belief. Is that right?
Yes.
How much of a factor today, when you look back on why you believe in this God, and we haven't even discussed what God you believe in, but it's not really relevant right now, I don't think. But have you ever wondered, are there other reasons for why you hold the belief in the God? Or if we can pie chart out where because you grew up that way, is it 75%, is it 25%, is it 100%? And there's no right or wrong answer. And again, try not to let the other person sway you. What would you say?
It would probably be 60-40. 60% growing up with it, and then 40% on my own.
Okay. And you, sir?
I would say about the same. I mean, just seeing, not only in my life, but seeing a lot of stories that people have gone through. Just seeing how God played a role in that. So.
Okay, so if I can paraphrase, the 40% you would point to and say you see things in your life, and that's the God.
Yes.
And then you were saying that you can make your decisions, but is that the 40% for you, the choices that you make, but you're still attributing...
The choices that I've made and the things that I've been through and witnessed and experienced has influenced the factor that, yes, there is something out there that's looking over me.
Let's examine the 40%. That's not because you were grown up that way.
Yeah.
But let me just propose this. What God do you believe in?
God,
Christ.
The Christian God, Jesus Christ. Okay. If all things were the same, but you grew up in a completely different household, and you were taught to believe in Ganesh. Ganesh is the one true God. Do you think it's likely that you could be, on a university in Bangalore and some dude with, a clipboard is asking you, what do you believe and why? Could you possibly be at the 60% on the Ganesh belief and then the 40% is backfilled because of the belief that you were exposed to?
I think so.
Okay. What do you think?
I don't know. That's hard to say, honestly. Like,
Have you ever met anyone that it has a completely different belief?
yeah, but they believed in like Allah and kind of.
Yeah.
That's my mom. She's Muslim. She grew up that way. But their belief is the same. They have one true God that looks over. So I feel like it's the same direction of life, pretty much.
If by chance, and I've interviewed lots of people here, and there was literally a guy on this campus that believes in 3 gods. He grew up in India.
Oh, wow.
And he rattled off like it was Ganesh, Vishnu, and something else. I mean, maybe I'm getting those wrong. Can I finish this point?
Yeah.
Okay.
Of course.
Are you guys in a hurry?
No.
Okay. Thank you. If you strolled by and he said, you know what, I'm really at the 60%, and I see these gods working in my life, and that helps me justify the 60%. But when we really look at the 60%, I attribute that to I was raised that way, and I was taught that these 3 gods were real. If there was an objective person, like if I'm really trying to be neutral and maybe looking at the 2 of you folks and this gentleman, and everyone is just as convinced that their God is real, but they would point to the manner in which they were raised as one of the main factors. What would be the best way for a neutral observer to determine which of the 2 of you, with the 3 of you, would be correct in the belief?
That's hard to say.
Honestly, it would have to be like what they believe in truly, but not what they grew up believing.
Yeah.
It's what they've experienced. So if they, like I say, my 40% or whatever is from my experience, is because life or death situations where I've came out and can look back and be like, yeah, there's something looking over me. I believe that's stronger than what people have grown up with. So if he believes his belief is only because he's grown up with it, I feel like that I'm going to have the stronger belief that I'm in the correct, because how I've grown up, I didn't necessarily saying I'm growing up, but what I've experienced.
Yeah.
Don't you think though that gentleman would say nearly the same thing, that you know, when I look at my experiences, I know that it's my God working in my life, and therefore I'm so certain that the God is really true.
It's hard.
I know, it really is.
What would be the best way to figure out who's more correct? Would you agree that he might be more correct than you, or you could be more correct than him?
He could, or we could. I mean,
I know
it's something you don't have an official answer for.
Before we started this conversation, and you were strolling down, you know, a nice young looking couple, where would you say that you were on the scale of the confidence of your belief, from a 0 to a 100, where 0 is I'm not confident at all that this God exists, it's all doubt, and 100% is I have all confidence and no doubt? Prior to us talking, where were you?
I was at 100. I'm a strong believer in my faith.
Where are you now?
In my belief?
And this God.
What you're asking? I'm still at 100. Like, I believe that there is other religions and other gods and that people do believe in, but I'm like...
How about you, Kyle?
I would say the same thing.
When we reflect back on that Hindu that has 3 gods, that's 100% confident that his God exists, and say that, well, 60% of that is me being raised that way, but the 40% of the experiences, but I attribute those experiences to the God that I was raised on. Is it possible that he could be more correct than you, or vice versa?
It could be.
That is very possible, yeah.
But I guess that's where it comes back to experience and how we've been raised. We believe that's our belief. And we're open to other people's beliefs and stuff, but then it comes all back to how we've been raised.
Yeah.
If that's true, if this belief is largely a result of how you were born, you know what family you were born in and what you were taught, and you recognize that there's a chance that maybe he could be more correct than you, is it an honest position to hold yourself at the 100? Can you really be so certain that the belief is true if you would recognize that other people can arrive at different gods based on the same sort of circumstances as you?
I mean, I think it's hard to say until you really get to know where they're coming from and what they believe in And you really learn a lot about that.
But even if I don't know anything about Hinduism,
Yeah.
but this dude's 100% convinced that he's right.
Yeah. See, but he can be 100% and then we can be 100%.
In this scenario, would somebody have to be correct and somebody would have to be mistaken?
No.
You can both be correct?
Yeah. That's what I truly believe that. I truly believe if you believe at 100% in what you believe in, then you can never be wrong. And somebody else can never be wrong.
Do you want to move in the shade just a tad? Sure. I don't want you guys to burn up. Are you guys okay keeping talking?
No, yeah, I'm fine.
You guys enjoying it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't mind.
I love nothing more than chatting about this stuff.
It's interesting. It's very mind-blowing.
Yeah.
Because you can never be wrong, but you can never be right. Like,
Yeah.
But if you can never be right, how could you never be wrong?
see, and that's
It's just something you'll never have a for sure answer on until you actually pass and move on.
If you wouldn't know that you were mistaken on this belief, and I'm not saying that you are, you may have the right one, and this dude, the Hindu, might be way, way off.
Yeah.
But he thinks he's not. But if you couldn't discover that you were mistaken until you passed away, and then hopefully that it works in the way that you were taught, that there is a life after you die, I don't know if you know that that's the case, but I know that you were taught that. If you can't know if you're correct until you die, is 100% certainty the right spot to be?
it's faith. You just have to have faith.
Yeah.
So, if you believe and you have hope and you have faith in what you believe in, then I guess that's, I don't know how to explain it. Like,
You mentioned faith. Is faith a component for you too?
Yes.
On the belief?
Yes.
Do you need to have faith to be 100% confident that the belief is true?
I think so.
Yes.
Okay.
Because like you said, you never know. So how do you know you're going to be 100% for that religion or that belief? So faith is that big advantage. That's what
It's an advantage. You see faith as an advantage?
Yes, because without it, then how do you know that your belief is real or?
Okay.
I think the less faith you have, the less confident you are.
Yeah.
Oh. Is it fair to say that the opposite is true, that the more faith you have, the more confident in the position you can be?
I think so.
I don't want to put words in your mouth, so
No,
that's
yeah.
not what you're saying. Like, Anthony, dude, that's not what I'm saying.
No, I think
Because
so.
I want to understand.
Yeah.
I truly want to understand how you've come to the belief, what are the components going on, and then is it reliable? Do you have a definition of faith?
Definition of faith?
Yeah.
Put it in your own.
You need faith to be 100% sure that the belief exists. So
Yeah.
how would you define faith? Can you both think of your definitions and then like say them like once you have them and just blurt them out at the same
That's
time?
hard to put it in your own words.
That is very hard. Let's see, faith. Put me on the spot.
I know,
like that.
no,
I've never
you're really
even
getting
thought
this.
about that, to be honest.
Take your time.
Ooh.
I want to use it with like beliefs, but let's put that in the same.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. Do you use faith for anything else besides being so confident that your God is the one true God?
Oh yeah.
You do?
Almost everything.
With everything.
Can you take like 10 seconds to think of your best example where you use faith that's not related to the God belief?
I was gonna say faith that things work out, but that goes back to the God belief.
Well, my definition of faith would to be able to work things out
Okay.
with this one here in future tense. I have hope that
I think you had mentioned hope earlier.
Yeah.
And I was wondering if you were going to use that word again. Is faith the same as hope for you?
it's along the lines, they parallel with each
They
other.
go
Okay.
together.
Do you feel the same way?
Yes.
Can Can you give me an example of time that you hope for something, and it's not about Jesus or God or whatever? What would be a time where you would actually hope for something?
My biggest thing recently would probably be with my grandpa passing. I would hope that he was going to fight through the cancer that he was diagnosed with, and I had faith, but I guess it comes back to my belief in God and stuff, that it was his time, that he was going home pretty much. He was in a better place. It was easier for him to pass than to get better.
I'm sorry to hear that he passed away.
It's okay.
But are you saying? I'm sorry.
No, it makes me happy that he's better now.
Are you hoping that he's passed to a better place?
No, that's where faith comes in. I know that he's passed to a better
Faith
place.
is knowing?
Faith is...
Or is it hoping?
No, hope... That's how parallel. It's hope and faith come together, but then again, they have different definition. Like faith, I believe...
Yeah.
I have the faith that he did pass on to a better place. The hope was for him to get better, but I know he's better now. So, I don't know.
Are you saying that when you hope for something, it always comes true? That
No.
Oh.
No.
Can you hope for something and it not happen?
Yes, all the time.
Is faith the same as hope then? Because can you use faith and it maybe not happen?
Yeah. You can... Faith, you can always have faith, but sometimes it won't work out the way that you want it to.
Yet aren't you using faith for the same as the method to conclude that the God exists and you get to the 100%?
Yes. And then that's where belief comes in. You gotta believe that your faith is gonna be strong enough to know that you do have that one God that's looking over you.
I think you had mentioned that you need faith. You have to have faith to get to the God belief. But if faith runs a parallel to hope, I think you said, and you can hope for something and it might not come true. Faith, maybe you're saying, is not equivalent to hope anymore, but maybe it's just belief. I'm still a little hazy on what you mean by faith.
It's just extremely hard to explain.
It's very hard.
Yet it's extremely important, it sounds like, to you to get to the belief. To be 100% sure that the belief is true, you need faith. When you use faith, do you always get what you're using faith to arrive at?
I don't think so.
No.
Do you?
What makes faith different when you use it to get to the God belief? You're 100% sure that it exists. If faith doesn't work all the time, how are you so sure that it's working in this instance to get you to the 100% and the confidence of this God working and existing?
I think for me, having faith and confidence is seeing... I haven't really had a near-death experience, but seeing friends or family who've had experiences like that, and seeing them come out or seeing miracles happen, that's what really put it in my mind that he is real.
Are those experiences like the 40%?
Yes.
But when you look at those experiences, near-death experiences and miracles, are those resting on a foundation of faith, or do you have some other method for knowing that they're really working in the manner that you believe that they are?
I don't know. Wow. We've gone in circles here.
I know.
Always coming back.
Do you want to wrap it up, or we can keep talking? I've got a business
I'm
card.
just confused.
I'm sorry. The last thing I want is for you to be confused.
Well, no, it's not.
Am I confusing you?
It's not that I'm confused. It's just it's opened a whole new perspective to me. But I'm still like, even though people question me or open new ideas to me, I'm still like 100% what I believe. That's what's...
Do you believe 100%? Well, let me recap. It sounds like what you're saying, and if this is not it, tell me, because I really want to understand you, and I don't want to force an idea on you. But are you saying that the reason that you're 100% sure that the God exists is because you're using faith to be so sure that it's there. Yet in the discussion that we've just had, where are you on the confidence that faith is really as reliable as you may have thought before we started talking?
It's very, very hesitant now.
Yeah.
I believe. But see, with that, even like, you've opened up my eyes to a whole nother idea about my faith, about my hope, about my belief. But then I come back and I'm just like, well, I believed in this, and I still believe in this. Even if when I walk away, I'm going to be 100%. Like, that is my belief. That is my...
If I asked you a few more questions, okay, and at the end of those questions, you decided that maybe faith is not reliable. To the point where you might think, why did I even think faith was reliable in the first place? And I'm not saying I can do this, but if we had, whatever, a few more minutes. If I asked you a few more questions and you thought, you know what, faith really is not as reliable as I once thought that it was. If we can lower your confidence in faith, if you are willing to lower your confidence in faith, would that affect your position on the strength of your belief in this God?
I don't think so. What do you believe?
I don't think so. Back to the experiences and everything, I think that's all because of him.
Are you using faith to conclude that it's him that's doing those things in your life?
No.
No, because I was at a point in my life where I had no faith. I hit rock bottom, and I came out of multiple near-death experiences, and I believe I've seen Christ himself work in me, and I've come to where I am now, and I believe that faith has something to do with it, but actually believing. So
this experience that you've had where you saw Jesus, or Jesus came into your life, do you know that actually happened in the way that you think that it does because of faith, or do you have...
No, it doesn't even... Faith doesn't have to have the factor in that, because when I was going through this time, I was very up and down about Christ at this time and my belief. But when this happened to me, I came out of it feeling like a new person, so to say.
Well, how did you know that it was really working in the way that you think that it does if you weren't using faith? What was the validation or verification that you used to know that it was happening in the way that you think that it is?
Well, I believe how I came out of that situation.
Good.
I couldn't have done it by myself. So there had to have been something out there that helped me through that.
If that Hindu dude that believes in the three gods was walking by, and let's say that you just pretend like you guys were texting each other or whatever, and I'm having the conversation with him, and I'm asking him these questions, and he maybe is giving me the same answers, and he says, Anthony, when it really comes down to being certain, 100% certain that these three gods exist in my life, it's really faith. It runs a parallel to hope, and I just believe that it's true, and I use faith. And if I have to have faith, because if I don't have faith, then I'm not certain that the belief is true. And let's say a Muslim came by and also told us that he's certain that his belief is true because of faith.
Yeah.
And I've talked to a lot of people where oftentimes that's the main reason why. When we start asking the questions, it's not because they were raised in it necessarily, or it's not because they experienced miracles or whatever, or they got through a difficult time, but they would say it's faith. It's, believing in something or hoping that it's actually going to happen in that way. What would be your reaction if you were to hear people arriving at completely different God beliefs and basing it all on faith? the same method that you're using to be 100% sure that your God exists.
I would believe that we're all connected in one way. Like, it all comes down to what you believe in. But, I mean, if you believe in something, believe in that.
Yeah.
So, if it's me believing in Jesus Christ, if it's him believing in his three gods, or if it's a Muslim believing in Allah, it's what they believe in.
I'm not gonna go up and say you're wrong.
Yeah, that'd be kind of rude.
Yeah, I could be wrong in what I believe in, but it's what we believe.
It's what we believe.
So.
Does just believing in something make the belief true?
It can.
Can I just believe in anything and make it true?
Yeah, I think so. It comes back, I believe, like...
Do you think that?
Do you? I'll let you answer that real quick.
I don't think so. Well, it's hard to say. Everybody believes in different things. You can't argue with them whether they're right or wrong.
I want to make an analogy real quick.
Sure.
Say I was a Cowboys fan. I am not a Cowboys fan. But if you believe in that team, then you're going to follow that team. If you truly believe in that team, no matter if they're wrong, they're right, they lose, they win, you're going to follow that team because you believe in them.
Could I believe that the Cowboys are going to win the World Series for the next 1,000 years?
You could believe that.
Would it make it true?
It's not going to make it true. It's not going to make it happen. But if you believe in that, then that's your belief. I cannot say you're wrong. I cannot say you're right.
I think I agree that we all have a right to believe in what we want. I guess what it comes down to maybe is, do most people, do you two want to believe things that are true? Let's just start with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
I've had people say no, believe it or not.
Really?
But, so you want to believe true things.
Yes.
Do you think faith, this might be my last question,
Okay.
do you think faith is the best way to arrive at the determination that something is true?
And I hadn't been looking at my phone.
Some people might say yes, some people might say no. I mean,
What would you say, Kyle?
I think it's back to what we were saying earlier, all about experience, but then again with that, faith plays a role. So
What do you think, Sarah? Is faith the best way to determine if something is true?
It's hard. It's hard after this conversation.
I know.
It's really hard because how you said faith is unreliable at times. And I mean, I want to believe, again, I want to believe in something true. So when you say faith is unreliable at times, that doesn't necessarily make it true. But I want to say that, yes, I want to believe in faith and stuff, so.
Thank you so very much for your
You're
time.
welcome.
I really appreciate it.
We didn't
It was
even
really
ask you what you believe in.
It was a pleasure. I can answer that if you want. Let me just give you these cards.
Okay.
They have my email address on it, and if
Okay.
you want to chat some more, I'd love to keep the discussion going.
Yeah.
If you're interested in
Yeah.
talking about this stuff, I'd love it. And I'll talk to anybody about anything. And I've literally had that conversation with a Hindu that believed in 3 gods.
Yeah.
So I love examining how people have arrived at their beliefs.
Yeah.
But you can ask me any question you want.
So what do you believe in? Do you believe?
What was that? On the scale of 0 to 100, I'm currently around the 3 to 5% on that scale. Yeah.
Okay.
But I'll tell you, I'm willing to move up.
Yeah.
But I'm not quite personally convinced that faith is the best mechanism to move up.
Yeah.
Some people like yourselves consider it to be reliable.
Yeah.
And that I'm really fascinated with that. When we might all recognize that people of all different religions are using faith to get to completely different gods.
Yeah.
There's millions of different gods that faith brings them to. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm
So
at.
what do you believe would help you raise your percentage?
Something demonstrable. What do you study here?
Business, real estate.
Pardon? What do you?
Kinesiology.
Cool. business and real estate.
Yes.
Okay. That's awesome. What was your question? Sorry.
What would raise that percentage?
Oh, evidence.
Evidence?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're a science kind of evolution.
I actually did horrible chemistry. I mean, but I consider myself somewhat skeptical. I'm a skeptic.
Okay.
In order for me to believe that, well, I mean, like the Dallas Cowboys might win the next 1,000 games, like, I don't think that there could be evidence that I would accept that would convince me that that's true. So I would put myself at the 3 to 5%.
Yeah.
But I think if I used faith to know that that was going to be the case, what do you think? Do you think that I could be convinced that they would win the next 1,000 games if I used faith?
From what you've convinced me of, probably not. But what I'm saying, what if
I couldn't use faith, or
No.
could?
couldn't?
Oh.
Couldn't. But what I'm asking is, what if you came out of a near-death experience to where...
It's funny you say that because I'm doing a Twitter discussion about near NDEs. We'll just call them NDEs.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead. Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt.
No, you're good. So what happened if you came out of a near-death experience and there was no hope for you, and something happened to where you got to survive this and come out of this? Would you believe it was the medicine, or would you believe that there is actually something looking over you?
Can we maybe make it like an airplane crash or something?
Yeah.
Is this the same thing?
Yeah.
I'm on an airplane and I'm flying to Washington, D.C., all right, in June. And the plane goes down and I'm the only one that survives. Are you saying if I survive, is this the same thing that you're talking about?
Yeah, you can say either you were the only one that survived in that plane crash, or you happened to be in a coma and they were going to take you, they were going to pull the plug.
Okay.
But you were in a coma for months and months at a time. There was no hope for you.
Yeah.
And then one day you just woke up.
Okay, and then I would just be like, what the hell happened?
Yep. And
Are you asking me if I would look at that and say that was obviously a God that did it?
that was obviously something out there looking over you. It doesn't necessarily have to be a God, it's just what
do you think
believe.
What do you think I would answer?
I mean, for me, I would think there has to be something.
You would.
Over
You'd attribute it to. Honestly, if that happened, I would be just grateful that it happened. I wouldn't try to assign some agency to it.
Alright.
But I'm not saying that what you're doing is wrong. But what I'm hoping for, maybe you walk away from the talk and you can email me or whatever, we can meet again. Or maybe I never see you. But what I'm hoping that maybe you think about is the reliability of the methods that you're using to arrive, to be so confident, 100% sure that what you're believing in is true.
That's what I got out of this, and that's what I will be thinking about.
Awesome, man. Well, cool.
Thank you.
It was really a pleasure. It was really the highlight of my day. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, take it easy.
Nice meeting you, Anthony.
Okay, bye-bye.